Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDOWORKHERELADY. Sometimes people get lucky and just get a great boss at work, but today's story is clearly not the case. And you want me to do what? This took place back when I was a new security guard, so the details are a little vague. This was about 15 years ago at everyone's favorite hellhole, Walmart. Not sure if this belonged here or entails from security, but an old coworker brought this up and said I should post it here. All right, the backstory. I'd gotten a job as a contracted security guard, a rent-a-cop. Basically, my job was to provide temporary security when a client needed something, say for an event or a break-in. The contracts were often only for a few weeks, a few only for a day or two. This would have been ongoing for almost 2 months when I arrived to replace a guard who'd quit. Now, this took place when Walmarts in my city had gone 24 hours, and this would have been renovating, which is why I was there. A lot of the staff were stressed from the renovations and trying to stock shelves with customers in the way. My job was to monitor the back door into the building and allow the contractors, only the contractors, access and ensure no one walked in and helped themselves because this was the main stockroom. These were 12-hour shifts, and due to a shortage of guards from a flood, I only got a 30-minute break, and I had to call one of our mobile guards to cover. Thankfully, there was a Mickey D's in the Walmart, something that I only went to on occasion, but they were okay with me eating in there. Also, I was told to keep my phone on me in case of emergencies. I was also told that under no circumstances was I to do the job of loss prevention in the store, as I was not trained to do it and didn't work for Walmart. Anyways, most of the night managers were pretty chill when it came to my being there, but there was this one, we'll call her Karen. Yep, hair and all. Hated the fact that all I did for 12 hours between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. was sit by a door and read or study. I was due to take the provincial security guard test within the month, and she would frequently try to bully me into doing stuff that was not my job, like sweep the floors in the stockroom or help load pallets for the staff to restock shelves. This led to more than one phone call from my supervisor to hers, reminding them what was laid out in my contract. Also, if I did help out and got hurt, workers' compensation would not cover it because I was doing work outside my duties. After the third or fourth time this happened, she upped her game, even began to pester me while I was on break by trying to say I was taking too long, even though I only took 30 minutes. One thing I should point out is that I have hypoglycemia, so I would often buy a few things to snack on during the shift to keep my blood sugar stable. Mostly fruit, juice, water, and nuts that I kept in a small cooler under my chair. She tried to tell me that I wouldn't be allowed to bring this in and that I was lying about my blood sugar condition to be a lazy pig. There was even one occasion when I grabbed some stuff there and went to pay, and she ordered the cashier to close out as soon as I got to the till and was nearly late to my location because I had to get in line somewhere else. Needless to say, I started grabbing stuff on the way instead of there. She also tried to sneak in through the stockroom door because she parked her car back there and got pissed when I wouldn't let her in this area as it was a construction zone and you needed PPE to event it, and would frequently tell me that. A woman has no place doing this kind of work, and the only reason you took this job was to meet men. I started to document everything and gave copies to my supervisor when I got my shifts for each week. Sorry about the long intro. Just painting a picture about how this woman was acting all petty stuff, but after 5 weeks of this, anyone would reach a breaking point. Well, near the end of my 5th week, I'm at McDonald's and decide to treat myself to some fries when Karen came stomping up. I rolled my eyes thinking, what now? She glares at the tray in my hands and back at me and says, I need you to come with me now. Little worried, because I asked what was wrong and she points to a teenage girl, maybe about 16, we'll call Liz, crying her eyes out. I just caught a shoplifter and I need to hold her for the police. I was a little stunned that she would ask this and said, sorry, but I can't do that. You have to get your own LPO to handle that. I should point out the reason we don't do this is, if this was a wrongful arrest and went to court, I and the company I work for would be liable as well. She smirked at me and said, oh, I sent them home. Don't need them if you're here. Why should we pay for more security than we need? I was floored. I honestly felt my brain come to a screeching halt on this. Then my phone started to ring, so I put my tray down to answer it. It was the mobile guards who had to cut my break short to deal with an alarm call nearby. I told him what was going on up front, and after a long pause and some very creative swearing, he told me he would call the night supervisor. As I put my phone away, I see Karen grab my tray and throw it in the trash. She glares at me and says, "Now get your lazy fat butt up to the LPO office and start the effing paperwork." I've had enough at this point, and the cashier at McDonald's had seen what happened and had flagged me over to hand me a fresh order of fries and a takeout bag. She even tossed in a couple of kid-sized cheeseburgers. I tell Karen to do it yourself, it's not my job, and leave. She follows me, dragging Liz with her and yelling about incompetence and how she'll have me fired, but she didn't follow me into the construction area. She didn't want to get the fancy shoes dirty. About 20 minutes later, my mobile supervisor showed up with another guard to cover my spot, and I thought, oh crap, I'm totally going to get canned. He tells me to head to the office behind the customer service desk. When I get there, there's Karen, Liz, 2 cops, the general manager for this location, one of the LPOs, and my boss, the owner of the company. By this time, it was nearly 4 a.m., so he decided to make a site visit himself. Then crap was going to hit the fan. He asked me to tell him what had happened, and before I could get it out, Karen starts ranting that I was lazy, incompetent, and all I did was eat or sleep on the job and took long calls on my phone. She even tried to claim that I brought in a laptop and was playing computer games instead of doing my job. I never even owned a laptop. My boss listens, then turned to me and asked what happened. So I explained and even told him that the cashiers in the McDonald's witnessed it. The LPO also confirmed that Karen had told his shift that they weren't needed that night and had canceled the shifts for the rest of them for the rest of the week. The GM was furious and turned on Karen so fast I thought she was going to snap her neck. Also, my boss brought out a stack of papers and handed it to the GM. Photocopies of the reports I'd made on this woman's harassment. I'd also had the guards that did the job on my days off do the same thing. Learn fast in this type of work to document everything. You could have heard a pin drop when the GM looked up from the 3 pages and said that she'd heard enough. The cops left, apparently. Karen tried to claim that I was helping Liz steal stuff and was trying to get me arrested too. The other guard covered the rest of my shift, and my boss told me to come see him after my weekend, which started that morning. Found out later that Liz didn't actually steal anything, and Karen thought a bottle of Coke she was drinking came out of the cooler, but Liz had bought it from the vending machines outside. Also, Karen had been let go for breaking company guidelines. She wasn't supposed to be able to cancel the LPO shifts, and harassment of me and other contract guards, and theft for tossing my lunch in the trash. Worked at that location for another month after that, and not a single issue for the remainder of my time there. And our second story. Oh, you're good friends with the owner? I must have amnesia. Okay, a bit of background. I'm female, 35, and I joined the Navy straight out of high school in 03 and was medically discharged in 06 and had made several friends in California while I was there. In 06, I started a small business making lighted decorations. To start, I did everything myself, but as time went by, I hired others. By 08, I had a small crew of 5 working for me, but in 09, it really grew, and I needed to get at least an additional 5 people, but I was looking for 10 to better keep up with orders. Around this time, I hired someone in a management position because I would be gone for a bit as a friend in California had been in a really bad accident and I was going to see them. A bit turned into 3 weeks, an entirely different story that won't show up in r/Entitledparents at the request of my friend before I returned home. I got back on Saturday morning and spent a day getting caught up on work and checking in with the manager on hires and sales that happened while I was gone. He informed me that we had 12 new hires because 2 of the workers quit while I was gone. Now, I do need to state that we have 3 office cubicles, mine, the manager's, and front desk. Front desk answers the calls, takes orders, and accepts customer complaints for me to deal with. Saturday and Sunday, front desk is closed. Turns out one of the new hires was FD. Monday morning, I'm in my office doing paperwork when I hear FD enter her office. I step out, introduce myself, and before I can say anything, I'm confronted by FD. She has a Karen hairdo that's a vibrant orange and a voice like Fran from The Nanny. It went something like this. FD is front desk, MG is manager, me is me. FD, who the F are you and why are you in the owner's office? Me, I'm the owner. Who the F are you talking to me like that? At this time, MG enters from the back and FD doesn't see him. FD, I'm FD and you are not the owner. He and I are close and personal friends. MG, looking very confused. What's going on here? Me, talking over FD's babbling. Apparently, I need to go to the hospital because I have amnesia, as she's a close personal friend and I'm a he. FD. F you, you pig, you're not the owner. MG. Actually, she is the owner, and I don't believe we'll be needing your services anymore. At that, you can literally see the light leave her eyes as she realizes she messed up. I ended up selling the business 5 years ago to the MG, and to this day, remembering the look on her face still makes me chuckle. And MG uses the story with new hires as a reminder to be careful how you speak to people. You never know, they could be your boss. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.